ready to dive into something totally different today.
Let's do it.
We're heading south of the border, way south,
Okay, I'm intrigued.
to the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico.
Ah, Yucatan. I'm hearing more and more about this place.
Specifically, Mérida.
Mérida. Yeah, it's like everyone's suddenly whispering, have you heard about Mérida?
Right. It's having a moment, and for good reason.
Seems like it's hitting that sweet spot.
Yeah.
Affordability, culture, and that pace of life.
Totally. Makes you rethink things, you know?
Absolutely.
But we've been digging deep.
Oh, yeah.
Articles, blogs, stories from people who actually took the plunge and moved there.
Wow. The real deal.
Exactly. And it's fascinating.
I bet.
Consider this your insider guide.
Love it. Let's dive in.
All right, number one, let's talk climate.
Okay.
Now, Yucatan, picture this.
Yeah.
Year-round warmth.
Okay, I can do that, yeah.
The kind of weather that makes you want to ditch those bulky coats forever.
Sounds pretty good to me.
Right. But, and there's always a but,
Uh-oh.
you got to be ready for April and May.
What happens in April and May?
Things get a little toasty.
Toasty how?
Like really toasty. We're talking 40 degrees Celsius.
Oh. 104 Fahrenheit for us.
Yep. Serious hydration strategy is essential.
I can imagine.
And then there's the rainy season.
Oh, right. Rainy season. What is that?
May to October. So right after that heat wave.
Oh, wow.
The dramatic afternoon storms, you know.
Yeah.
And always the chance of a hurricane, though. Mérida tends to be somewhat sheltered.
That's good.
But then there's this thing.
What thing?
You won't find it on any weather app.
Okay, now I'm really curious.
It's called helades.
Helades. What is that?
Bone-chilling humidity.
Really?
Especially in the mornings and evenings, even during the winter months.
So even when it's like 16 to 25 Celsius, 61 to 77 Fahrenheit, it feels much colder.
Exactly. Like damp, clammy air that just seeps right into your bones.
Wow, I've never heard of that.
Locals swear by a good coat, even when it's technically warm.
So packing for Yucatan is going to be a wardrobe puzzle.
Right. Swimsuit, warm coat, you got it.
Okay, noted.
All right, number two, cost of living.
Okay, this is a big one for a lot of people.
Is Yucatan really the affordable paradise everyone's saying it is?
Yeah, is it too good to be true?
Well, it can be.
Okay.
Especially compared to, say, big cities in North America or Europe.
Right.
But let's break it down.
Okay.
Housing, you're looking at around 8,000 to 12,000 Mexican pesos a month for a small apartment in Mérida.
Okay, that's not bad at all.
And a standalone house, that could be somewhere between 15,000 to 25,000 pesos.
Still pretty reasonable.
Now, if you're thinking about buying,
Okay.
expect to shell out at least 1,500,000 Mexican pesos,
All right.
plus closing costs. Now, let's talk everyday expenses.
Okay.
Can you enjoy those amazing Yucatecan meals without breaking the bank?
Yeah, tell me about the food.
That's another area where your money can really stretch.
Okay, good to know.
Imagine a delicious market meal for just 50 to 100 pesos.
Wow.
Or a nice restaurant dinner for 100 to 400 pesos.
I mean, that's amazing.
Depends how fancy you're feeling, of course.
Of course.
But we did hear some rumblings about rising costs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, not all sunshine and tacos, unfortunately.
Happening.
That influx of expats, especially in the north of Mérida,
All right.
driving up demand, you know.
The classic story.
Prices are creeping up. Some longtime residents are starting to feel the pinch.
Makes sense.
It's that delicate balance, isn't it?
It is.
Finding that sweet spot before it becomes, that's it place.
Right.
Okay, now for something I'm always curious about.
What's that?
Culture.
Ah, yes, the heart of it all.
I love soaking up those local vibes, So tell me, what's Yucatan culture all about?
Well, it's this beautiful blend.
Okay.
Ancient traditions and modern life.
I like that.
You've got that vibrant Mayan heritage woven into everyday life.
Yeah.
And that warmth, that hospitality, the stuff Mexicans are famous for.
I'm already picturing myself in those colorful markets.
Oh, they're amazing.
Picking up some Mayan phrases from friendly vendors.
Speaking Spanish is key, of course.
Right.
But even a few Mayan phrases go a long way.
I bet. So is respect,
Exactly. And speaking of connecting,
Yeah.
get ready to embrace a different pace of life.
Okay, I'm listening.
Yucatan moves to a slower, more deliberate rhythm.
I'm all about slowing down.
Good. Because the siesta is not a suggestion in Yucatan.
It's not.
It's a way of life.
Really?
Around midday, things just shut down.
What?
For a couple of hours, people rest, recharge, enjoy a long lunch.
That sounds amazing.
It is. You'll start to understand the Yucatecan art of living.
Okay, siesta time is officially my new favorite time of day.
I thought you might like that.
And speaking of embracing the local lifestyle,
Yeah.
We came across something called La Biciruta.
Ah, yes. Every Sunday, Main Avenue in Merida
What happens?
transforms into a cyclist's paradise.
No way.
Cars are mostly banned.
Wow.
Families, couples, friends, everyone's out there biking, skating, enjoying the fresh air.
Sounds incredible.
It is. Can be a little tricky to navigate the city by car on those days, though.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But hey, rent a bike. Join the fun.
La Biciruta is officially added to my to-do list.
You won't regret it.
All right, let's tackle a question that's probably on everyone's mind.
Okay.
Safety.
Big one.
What's the real deal with safety in Yucatan?
Well, Merida consistently ranks as one of the safest cities in Mexico and even in the Americas as a whole.
That's impressive.
We even found this story from an expat, got pulled over for a minor traffic stop,
Okay.
and they were surprised by how respectful the police were.
Wow.
No demands for a mordida?
What's a mordida?
Basically a bribe.
Oh.
No place is completely crime-free, of course.
Right.
Don't flash expensive jewelry. Be mindful of your belongings, especially in crowded places.
Good advice.
But overall, Merida has this really safe and peaceful vibe.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Okay, now for the fun stuff.
Hit me.
Activities.
Yes.
What is there to do in and around Merida?
Get ready for adventure. Merida is perfectly positioned for exploring.
Okay, I'm ready.
You're a quick 30-minute drive from the beaches of Progreso.
Beaches, all right.
And there are these other coastal gems, too.
Oh.
Chicxulub, Chelem, Sasal.
I'm writing these down.
They're just waiting to be discovered.
Okay, beach day is definitely happening.
Good.
And I keep hearing about these cenotes.
Ah, yes.
What are those exactly?
Incredible natural sinkholes.
Sinkholes.
Filled with crystal clear, often refreshingly cool water.
Okay.
It's like swimming in a hidden jungle oasis.
Now that sounds magic.
And the closest one to Merida is just a 35-minute drive away.
Hold on, I need to add swim at a cenote to my list right now.
Yes.
This is already sounding amazing.
It is.
But what about those ancient Mayan ruins we keep hearing about?
Yeah, yes. Yucatan. Steeped in history.
Yeah.
Prepared to be blown away.
Okay.
World-renowned archaeological sites.
Tell me more.
Chichen Itza, Uxmal, Ekbolam. It's like stepping back in time, connecting with the civilization that thrived centuries ago.
I can't even imagine.
It's incredible.
Okay, I'm picturing myself wandering through ancient temples,
Yeah.
then cooling off in a cenote.
Perfect day trip.
This is getting better and better.
It is, and that's just the beginning.
Whoa, slow down.
Uh-huh.
We need to pace ourselves here.
Right.
Let's save some of those juicy details for the next part of our deep dive.
You got it. We'll be back with more insights.
Yes.
And those nitty-gritty details that'll help you decide if Yucatan is calling your name.
Can't wait. All right, welcome back to our Yucatan deep dive.
We're picking up right where we left off,
Yeah.
exploring those practicalities, those cultural quirks.
The little details that make Yucatan so alluring.
Exactly.
So in part one,
Yeah.
we covered Yucatan's unique climate, the cost of living, that blend of Mayan and Mexican culture,
Right.
safety, and just a taste of all those amazing activities waiting to be discovered.
Just a taste. There's so much more.
But we're just getting started.
Oh, yeah.
Today, we're diving into the stuff that really matters
Okay, like what?
when you're considering a big move like this.
Right.
Healthcare, education, finding work, and just everyday tips that make expat life a little smoother.
Sounds good to me.
All right, let's tackle healthcare first.
Okay, that's a big one for sure.
What's the healthcare system like in Yucatan?
Well, Yucatan actually has this two-tiered system.
Okay,
Public and private.
got it.
Public health care, also known as IMSS or Seguro Popular, is available to all Mexican citizens and residents.
Okay.
It's funded through taxes, offers pretty affordable care,
Yes.
but sometimes you might encounter longer wait times
Right.
or crowded facilities,
So affordability for maybe a bit less convenience?
Yeah, something like that.
And what about private healthcare?
Private healthcare is where you'll find those shorter wait times.
Okay.
More modern facilities, wider range of specialists.
Makes sense.
It's going to be more expensive than the public system, of course,
Right.
but still significantly less than what you'd pay in many other countries, including the U.S.
That's good to know. So for expats moving to Yucatan,
Yeah.
what are the options? Can they access both systems?
Absolutely. They can choose to contribute to the public system and take advantage of those services,
Okay.
or they can opt for private insurance.
Got it.
There are also international health insurance plans, that provide coverage both in Mexico and back home, which can be a good option for peace of mind.
That makes sense. Okay, let's shift gears to education.
All right.
Big one for families with kids, obviously.
Of course.
What's the education landscape like in Yucatan?
Yucatan actually has a pretty solid education system.
Okay, good to know.
Options ranging from public schools, which are free and follow a standard curriculum,
Right.
to private schools, which often have smaller class sizes, specialized programs, and might even offer bilingual instruction.
So depends on your family's needs and preferences, right?
Oh, exactly.
And for those thinking about higher education,
Yeah.
are there universities in Merida?
You bet. Merida has several reputable universities, including the Universidad Autónoma de Yucatán,
Okay.
UADY for short, which is the largest and oldest in the state.
Wow.
They offer a variety of undergraduate and postgraduate degrees, so there are definitely opportunities for continuing education.
So whether you've got little ones starting school
Yeah.
or you're thinking about pursuing a degree,
Right.
Yucatan has got you covered.
It does.
Now, let's get to a question that's probably on many expats' minds.
What's that?
Finding work.
Okay.
Is it easy to find a job in Yucatan?
That's where things get a little more nuanced. The job market is growing,
That's good.
but it's still heavily focused on tourism, hospitality, and real estate.
Right. Makes sense.
So if your skills fall into those categories,
Yeah.
you're in luck.
But for those of us with different skill sets,
Yeah.
is it even worth trying to find work there?
It's not impossible, but it might require some extra effort.
Okay.
Networking is key, being open to entrepreneurial ventures.
Right.
We're also seeing this rise in remote work,
Yeah, that's becoming more and more common.
Exactly. Expats finding jobs online, working for companies based elsewhere.
That remote work option really is a game changer.
It is. Opens up so many possibilities.
It does. Okay, let's talk about some practical tips for navigating daily life in Yucatan.
All right, what do you want to know?
What are some things expats should be aware of?
One thing that really stands out is the importance of personal relationships in Yucatecan culture.
Oh, interesting.
People value face-to-face interactions, building trust. So be prepared to spend time getting to know your neighbors, shopkeepers, colleagues.
I like that.
It's about building those connections, those genuine relationships.
A human touch.
Exactly. Not just rushing through transactions, but actually taking the time to connect.
And what about language?
Yeah.
Do you absolutely need to speak Spanish fluently to live in Yucatan?
While speaking Spanish fluently will definitely enrich your experience and help integrate more fully.
Yeah.
It's not a deal breaker.
Right.
Many people in tourist areas speak English.
Right.
And there are language schools and resources available for learning, too.
So even if you're a beginner, you can still get by.
You can, but making an effort to learn Spanish, even some basic phrases,
Yeah.
goes a long way in showing respect, making those everyday interactions smoother.
Meeting people halfway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now let's circle back to transportation, which we touched on briefly in part one.
Right, getting around.
What are some specific tips?
Well, within Merida, the Va-y-ven bus system is a great option.
Yeah, it is.
It's efficient, affordable, and there's an app to help you plan your routes.
Very convenient.
Taxis are readily available, and for longer trips, you can use ride-hailing services like Uber or Didi.
Yep, those are good options too.
And if you're planning on exploring outside of Merida, to those beaches and cenotes,
Right.
renting a car can be a good option.
For sure, but remember,
Sure.
driving in Mexico can be a bit different from what you might be used to.
Okay.
So be prepared for some unique traffic situations.
Stay alert, be patient.
Exactly, and brush up on those local traffic laws.
All right, let's talk about
What?
the dreaded B word.
Oh, no, bureaucracy.
Yes. What's the deal with that in Yucatan?
Let's be real, bureaucracy can be a bit of a headache anywhere,
Sure.
and Mexico is no exception.
Right.
But with a little patience, preparation, and maybe a deep breath or two,
Yeah.
you can navigate the system.
Okay, so what are some essential things expats should know?
If you're planning to stay long-term, you'll need to get a residence visa.
Okay, yeah.
The process can be a bit time-consuming,
Right.
so it's best to start early and gather all the required documents.
Good advice.
And once you've got your visa sorted,
Yeah.
you'll need to register with the local authorities
Okay.
and get a CURP, which is basically a unique population registry code.
What do you need that for?
You'll need it for various transactions, like opening a bank account or getting a driver's license.
So organization is key.
It is.
Now let's talk about something that can make or break your expat experience.
All right, what's that?
Connecting with the local community.
Ah, yes, the people.
What are some tips for making friends and building relationships in Yucatan?
Well, Yucatecans are incredibly warm and welcoming.
I've heard that.
So don't be shy about striking up conversations with people you meet,
Good advice.
whether it's at the market, in a cafe, or at a local event.
Right.
Be open to those interactions. You'll be surprised at how quickly you can build connections.
It's about putting yourself out there, being open to new experiences.
Exactly. And if you're looking for a more structured way to meet people,
Yeah,
consider joining expat groups, attending language exchange events.
good idea.
Volunteering is also a fantastic way to connect with like-minded individuals.
And give back to the community.
Exactly. It's all about finding those common threads, those shared interests that bring people together.
Speaking of which,
Yeah.
Yucatan's vibrant cultural scene.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's something that really stood out in all the research we've done.
It's everywhere.
So tell me more.
Well, Yucatan has this incredible mix of traditional Mayan festivals,
Okay.
contemporary art exhibitions, and everything in between.
Sounds like there's always something going on.
There is always something happening, whether it's a lively fiesta in a small town,
Right?
a concert in a colonial courtyard, or an art opening in a hip gallery.
We already talked about La Ruta.
Yeah, that's a must-do.
But what are some other events or activities expats can look forward to?
Well, Mérida has a thriving art scene. Theaters, galleries, music venues showcasing local and international talent.
Cool.
There are also frequent festivals throughout the year,
Oh, like what?
like Hanal Pixan, the Day of the Dead celebration, which is a truly unique and moving experience.
Wow.
It's all about embracing the local culture, immersing yourself in those traditions.
So it sounds like there's no shortage of ways to keep busy and experience the richness of Yucatecan culture.
Not at all. It's about finding those hidden gems, those unexpected encounters that make expat life so rewarding.
And that brings us to a thought-provoking question for our listeners
All right,
to ponder.
hit me.
Imagine you've just arrived in Mérida, settled into your new casita,
Okay, yeah,
and you're ready to embrace this new chapter.
I like it.
What's the first thing you do? Where do you go? Who do you meet?
Ooh, good question.
Let that image simmer in your mind as we wrap up part 2 and gear up for the final part of our Yucatan deep dive.
Can't wait to see what you've got in store for us.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We're wrapping up our Yucatan adventure, and man, this place has really gotten under our skin.
It's more than just beaches and cenotes, right?
Yeah,
There's something deeper here, a soulfulness that you don't find everywhere.
totally. From those sun-drenched beaches of Progreso to those mystical cenotes hidden in the jungle, the vibrant energy of Mérida to those charming pueblos mágicos, we've covered it all.
Practical stuff, cultural crooks,
But now it's time to talk about what makes Yucatan truly special.
the stuff that goes beyond the guidebooks, right?
Exactly. The heart of Yucatan, the spirit of its people, that magic that happens when you open yourself up to a new way of life.
I like that.
One thing that really struck me during our research,
Yeah.
that profound connection Yucatecans have to their Mayan heritage.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not just history, it's woven into everyday life.
It's everywhere.
You see it in the language, the food, the ceremonies, the stories passed down through generations.
A living heritage.
Exactly. And visitors can really tap into that. It's not just about seeing ruins, it's about connecting with that deeper cultural legacy.
It is.
Whether you're attending a traditional Mayan ceremony, learning a few phrases in the Mayan language, or even just chatting with a local about their family history.
So many ways to experience that connection to the past.
And speaking of connections,
Yeah.
something else that sets Yucatan apart, the warmth and hospitality of its people.
There's this genuine kindness,
Yeah.
a willingness to help that makes you feel instantly welcome.
I remember that story we read, that expat who said when they first moved to Mérida, their neighbors went above and beyond.
Oh, yeah.
Invited them over for meals, offered to help with errands, even taught them some Spanish.
It's those small gestures, right?
Exactly.
That create a sense of community, a feeling of belonging.
It's about human connection, sharing experiences, creating those memories that stay with you long after you've left.
That's the beauty of Yucatan.
It's a place to slow down, embrace a more relaxed pace of life, really connect with the people and the culture.
Rediscover those simple pleasures, right?
Sipping coffee in a sunny plaza, watching the sunset over the ocean, listening to the laughter of kids playing in the streets.
It's a chance to escape, reconnect with what truly matters.
As we wrap up our deep dive, we want to leave you with one final thought,
Okay, I'm ready.
a question to ponder as you consider your own journey to Yucatan.
I like it.
Imagine you're sitting on a porch swing, a gentle breeze carrying the scent of tropical flowers.
Okay, I can picture it.
The sun is setting, casting a warm glow over the cobblestone streets. You're surrounded by the sounds of laughter and music, the aroma of freshly cooked tortillas filling the air.
Sounds amazing.
In that moment, what are you feeling? What are you thinking? What dreams are taking shape in your heart?
Wow, yeah. What dreams.
Yucatan has a way of awakening the senses, inspiring dreams, reminding us of the simple joys of life.
It does.
It's a place to create new memories, forge new connections, write a new chapter in your own story.
Love.
So, what will your Yucatan story be? What adventures await you in this land of ancient wonders, vibrant culture, and warm hospitality?
The possibilities are endless.
We hope this deep dive has sparked your curiosity, ignited your imagination, and maybe even inspired you to start planning your own Yucatan adventure.
It's definitely got me thinking.
And remember, every deep dive is just the beginning of a much bigger journey.
It is.
So keep exploring, keep dreaming, and keep those questions coming.
Until next time.
Keep diving deep.